Scorpio, very warm welcome. My name's Drew. This is Modern Tarot. This is the last couple of weeks of May Tarot for you, okay? So the 15th to the 31st. They might be a couple of days later getting out there being published, guys. I've just been so busy with personal reading, so I apologize, all right? But anyway, Scorpio, let's have a look what might be coming up for you throughout the last couple of weeks of May. And remember, guys, it's not a personal reading. Personal readings are way more focused on specific people, places, and things. So, take what fits and leave the rest behind, or let it filter like a fine coffee. Okay, so Scorpio, one more shuffle, and we're going to go straight into this reading. Okay, so things might be moving forward for you, okay, at quite a fast pace, after a period of waiting. So that could be, you've been waiting to do a certain course, Scorpio. You've been waiting for a job offer. You've been waiting for a rise. You've been waiting for more responsibilities, these kind of things. So after a period of waiting, you might see, and this was in your previous readings, that you were trying to manifest things, but they were going very slow. So you might see a change. Look, I can't make this shit up on Modern Tarot. The Chariot, okay, is an undercurrent of this reading. Some of you might be thinking of, traveling. Could be, staycations, these kind of things, all right, or planning them. But this is a card of movement. I'm liking this for you, okay? Let's have a look. Center of the reading. We've got the Queen of Wands, okay? This is a fire sign, okay, that might be prevalent in your life throughout throughout the last 2 weeks of May. If not, this is you feeling confident, Scorpio, okay? Sitting on your throne there, looking good. Some of you might be, really taking care of your appearance, and walking around with, a sense of confidence, not arrogance, okay? The challenge, all right, is to get over some kind of betrayal. This could be self-betrayal. It's leaving some form of, feeling of betrayal in the past, all right? Letting go of some form of betrayal. What's this all about? The reason why it's all happening, we've got the High Priestess in reverse, some kind of secrets coming out, Scorpio. I need to clarify this reading. They're interesting cards, right? Recent past, you were burdened by something, whatever that might mean for you. Some kind of burden, okay? Your focus, Four of Wands. Some of you might be thinking of moving. The home might be quite significant. Some of you might be looking at listings for, renting new properties, buying new properties. Could be a card of moving in together, these kind of things, all right? But, that might be a focus of yours. Others of you, you might be feeling great and walking around, looking good, dressing well and all that. And some of you might have, just lower back issues or issues with your back, okay? So just pay attention to that, because you might struggle throughout the last couple of weeks of, I don't know where that thought came from. It just came out, okay? What you don't see coming towards you, we've got the Emperor in reverse. Okay, sign of Aries might be significant, but Emperor in reverse is not a nice character. This is someone, my way or the highway. I don't know who this might be around you, but they might kind of like grind on you a little bit throughout the last couple of weeks of May, okay? Emperor in reverse. Look at you, this is a nice reading for you, Scorpio. Your energetic field is one of optimism. Some of you might be really being quite inspired about, new ideas, doing new courses, becoming very interested in different things, It's a kind of optimism. And some of you, there's quite a lot of yellow in this reading, okay, with the Four of Wands, and we've got the Three of Wands, which is more of an amber hue. But, that's about sense of self. So it really is about, for you, Scorpio, throughout the last couple of weeks of May, it'd be like, I kind of know what I want. I know where I want to live, or the kind of house that I want to live in. I know that I need to feed my brain, okay? Outside influences, we've got the Three of Swords here, okay? This is a card of heartbreak, whatever this might be. Outside influences, okay? I don't know what this is about. You're fearing Seven of Swords, Scorpio. You're fearing deceit. Some of you are fearing to strategize something. Scorpio, outcome, no drama, giving up the drama, no fighting for people's time, care, and attention. Okay, Five of Wands in reverse. This is like, I don't do drama. I'm keeping it moving. I'm focused on my stability. Okay, and I'm optimistic, and I'm not going to let anyone change my state by bringing petty drama towards Scorpio throughout the last couple of weeks of May. All right. So let's go a little bit deeper with this reading now and clarify. Okay. Why is the Queen of Wands here as the center of this reading? Now, this could actually be a person in your life. Okay. And then we've got the Emperor in reverse. It could be the same person, where the feminine is upright and then the masculine. All right. So we're talking about masculine and feminine in everybody. Okay. Myself included. And so are you, Scorpio, whichever gender you are watching this. And so this person might be quite nice and then suddenly switch up and become very controlling. They might irritate you a little bit. Okay. They might mess with your water energy. Just saying. All right. Heads up. Why is the Queen of Wands here? Okay, then we've got the Page of Pentacles. This might be something to do with work, okay? This person, and then we've got the Empress in reverse. This person, all right, just watch out. There might be someone around you throughout the last couple of weeks of May, okay? This person doesn't feel good about themselves, okay? And they might come across as friendly and then switch up a little bit on you throughout the last couple of weeks of May. They might irritate you a little bit. Yeah, and it's a challenge. It might be a challenge at work. This might be somebody at your workplace, Scorpio, that's kind of like, might piss you off a little bit. And the reason why it's all happening, High Priestess in reverse, this person might not be very spiritual. I'm just saying, okay? They kind of like open up to it a little bit, but I think it's just feigned. In order to get along with you. Seems to be something to do with work here, Scorpio. So watch out for this. Someone with heavy fire in their chart, okay? In the recent past, all right, you might have been a little bit burdened by some kind of an ending. So this could have been an ending of a job, ending of, where you were living, ending of a cycle, okay? This was the recent past, but it was the 10. So you might have completed some kind of a cycle in the past that was quite burdensome for you, all right? Your focus is the Four of Wands. All right, some of you really might be looking for new homes, moving throughout the last couple of weeks and umming and ahhing, what's best, where should I live, what's right, what's affordable, is it the right neighborhood, does it sit well with the things I appreciate in a home, What you don't see coming is the Emperor in reverse. Okay. Just watch out for a feeling of stuckness and not taking control of situations, Scorpio. I think really what this is saying is take control of a situation. If someone is a bit shitty around you throughout the last couple of weeks and maybe a bit controlling, up in your business and I know better than you, these kind of things, all right, take control of it, okay? And that's how you change dynamics, right? Okay, you're optimistic, all right? Some of you have plans and dreams, okay, but you're not really communicating about it. Some of you, might be thinking about people at long distance, but you can't travel, okay? People that you haven't heard of, family, friends, siblings, these kind of things, all right? Outside influences, we got, the Three of Swords and the Ten of Cups in reverse. Now, this could just be a disappointment in... the Ten of Cups in reverse, in the upright, certainly it's a beautiful card. It's a fairy tale card, right? It's all about emotional bliss, feeling at peace and serenity, all right? This is outside influences. I'm just wondering whether there might be somebody around you, Scorpio. I don't think this is you or somebody that you're close to. This is someone around you, okay? They're not happy. And I think if you're working with them at close quarters, I think you really need to take control of it and kind of like, speak to them and be assertive, okay? And it might be quite burdensome. Some of you might not like conflict, okay? And it's a burden to have to strategize. How am I going to handle this today, all right? Just watch out for that, okay? And so, Scorpio, I think there was a reading some time ago, and it was all about having those difficult conversations. Don't be scared. Just speak your mind, okay? Because, by you avoiding conflict, it's going to leave you burdened. So this person, whoever this might be, this Emperor in reverse, I think it's the same person, okay? 1 minute they're cool on their feminine side, and then suddenly this controlling, kind of like dominant masculine side comes out, It could be a woman, okay? that makes you feel stuck. You might be stuck around this person, working at close quarters with them, and you don't want the drama, you don't want it, but it burdens you. So I think really what it's saying is speak up, be assertive, Scorpio, and just say, hey, look, I don't appreciate this kind of behavior. I don't appreciate you talking to me this way. Tell me more about this person. Do you know who this is? Okay. Right. What it's saying, Scorpio, is, in the workplace, don't mistake, work colleagues for friends. Okay. You might be coming from a great place. Um, you might be coming from a great place. And this person, I don't think they're a happy individual, and they might project a lot of their shitty feelings onto you in the workplace, especially if it's a confined space. All right, so just watch out. Make sure you get some space away from this person, or speak up your mind, speak your mind, and just say, hey, look, I don't appreciate this. Um, Others of you, all right, somebody might not be taking control of the situation. Okay. You might, really want to get away and travel, and the other person might be a little bit stuck for various reasons, okay? Um, these kind of things, all right? So just watch out for that. There might be a miscommunication about plans of travel, and one might want to go, the other one might not. Um, let's have a look. Some advice, okay? So your focus throughout the last couple of weeks is umming and ahhing, juggling two things, okay, and it could be decisions around the home. Might be really, really important to you. Stability, the Four of Wands, okay, umming and ahhing, and these kind of things. What is that about? Growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. So for some of you, I'm just working intuitively here. You might be, looking for something a little bit larger, on the home front to create, segregation and space. So, if your computer's in your bedroom kind of thing, that's it's not very feng shui. And it really is, there's no boundary between work and sleep time. Okay, so some of that might be on your mind about space around the home, that I need a bigger place, or, the layout of something, you might need something more convenient, for your work-life balance, if that makes sense. One of these for you, Scorpio. Let's have a look at this. And some of you are very optimistic. Okay, you're not really speaking about it. And you, it seems to be a thirst for knowledge. You might really be optimistic about growing spiritually, and you might be really exploring not so much self-help, but things that expand your consciousness. Thought-provoking material. Intelligence, Scorpio. Education, knowledge, perception, flexibility. Okay. Some of you might decide to read quite a lot here. Some of you, part of this home, you might want your own personal space, even if you're living with someone, where you can, light a few candles and chill out with a book in peace and quiet. And it might be to do with the fact that your home might be a little bit too small. And so you can't get that little sanctuary. So let's have a look. If it is about love throughout the last couple of weeks of May, let's have a message for that, Scorpio. What strikes me is there might be somebody around you. I think it's a feminine energy, guys, and they're unhappy, and they might project a lot onto you, and you might kind of just want to kind of create space from them because it burdens you. You don't want to get into conflicts or fights, but when you're dealing with an emperor in reverse, it can be quite difficult. All right, they're quite stubborn characters. It's my way or the highway, or you know, I want to work with you, but on my terms, these kind of characters, right? It's safe for you to love, Scorpio. Open your heart to give and receive the highest love of all. All right, so it's safe for you to love. Okay, but remember to love yourself first, Scorpio. And that's, I think, the message of this reading. By you avoiding conflict, okay? So some of you might be conflict avoidant, and it just makes you feel burdened. And that's not very loving to yourself. Prepare to have some difficult conversations with people, and just say, hey, look, I don't appreciate this behavior. It's the most loving thing you can do to be assertive. Okay. What was that card? Intelligence, knowledge, perception, education, flexibility. And you know what? Maybe you have been flexible, but it's kind of like crunch time now where you need to be assertive and love yourself first and speak up, Scorpio, and just say, hey, look, I don't appreciate this. Can we change? Can we grow? Growth, you know? And maybe this person is, very controlling, set in their ways, but they're not happy. Something to do with their emotional life, and they project it out into the world onto other people, okay? Because it's too painful for them. Doesn't mean to say you got to sympathize, you can empathize, but, don't bring that to work, okay? All right, count your rainbows, Scorpio, not your thunderstorms, okay? It's going to be very important. All right, be grateful for the small things that are happening around you, okay? Even your small house at the moment, be grateful for it. And this is how, the universe, God, or however you frame your belief system brings you more, okay? Count your rainbows, not your thunderstorms. This card urges you to focus on the positive. What you think about, you bring about. So, positive spins on everything, Scorpio. Become like Jim Carrey in that movie where he had to say yes to everything, okay? But don't say yes to this person, all right? Nip that in the bud, because that might be doing a number on you. And this might be, a pattern in your life where you avoid conflict and you internalize the shitty feelings that are projected from others, and it makes you feel burdened, okay? And sometimes, we need to have these harsh conversations with people. It doesn't have to be abusive or get physical. It's about being assertive. So it's assertiveness without aggression. And that's how you kind of like, give this emperor what for, realizing they can't manipulate, and it's not all about you, self-centered, behavior. I realize you're in pain and you're unhappy, but you know what? I'm not taking that. That's nothing to do with me. All right. Let's have a look. I want to leave you with one of these. All right. So we had count your rainbows. All right. So it'd be very important for you to be thankful for the small things. Last couple of weeks in May, Scorpio. And then we've got wealth. Money's on its way to you. Think thoughts of abundance. Okay. So some of you, there was a shift. There is a shift. Remember the Chariot as the undercurrent of that reading. The bottom of the deck was the Chariot. It was the Chariot. Yeah, and it was the Seven of Pentacles. So a long time coming. All right, that might be a song for you. The Doobie Brothers, Long Train Coming. Speaking of songs, let me leave you with the song. Okay, so the lyrics might mean something. The band might mean something. The melody might evoke certain feelings. There might be a subliminal message in there for you, all right? So if you're a song, Scorpio, last couple of weeks of May, let's have a look. The End by The Doors, okay? The End by The Doors. And you know what? It might be the end of you being conflict avoidant, okay? Because you might be so burdened, and it might have, appeared in your life several times where you felt burdened and you're thinking, you know what? I really need to turn the emperor up right here and take control of this now and have those difficult conversations, okay? And, I mistook friendship for romance. Forget the romance bit. But, we don't always have to be people-pleasing and be nice to everybody. We need to call out these people, to set boundaries with them, okay? Because they just want to keep you stuck in their never-ending feeling oppressed. Okay, it's how they gain power, by oppressing other people. And you're not loving yourself first by not speaking up, Scorpio. So, if anything from this reading, be prepared to have those conversations and nip it in the bud. Otherwise, you're never going to change that dynamic and you're going to continue to feel burdened. In love, in life, everything is about relationship. The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, we're always in relationship. And it's about, being assertive and say, hey, look, I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate you just turning up at my house unannounced. Please just give me a phone call. Love to see you. But I'd like to give you my full attention. That's assertive without without aggression. And, once you start getting used to really doing that, you become free. You're no longer feeling burdened by not going there. Does that make sense? Easier said than done, guys. I know. Takes, practice. You know, you might find that you set boundaries if you're not used to setting them, and you become quite aggressive because you're not used to it. So it's like, you know, buying a wooden table and the edges are still sharp and you keep banging into it, when all it takes is a little plane, you know, to round off those edges so that you bump into it, it doesn't really hurt. So, you know, it really is about temperance, you know, finding temperance and balance in setting boundaries, assertiveness without aggression, you know. So, Scorpio, I hope you enjoyed that. My name's Drew. This is Modern Tarot. If you like the content, please like, share, or subscribe, and I'll do my best to help you or give you some clarity. If you need a personal reading, you can reach out at moderntarot.net or visit the YouTube Modern Tarot store. I think I just spoke this last couple of sentences all backwards. I think I was saying like, share, and subscribe if you like the content. If you want a personal reading, you can reach out at moderntarot.net or browse the YouTube Modern Tarot store, and I'll do my best to, you know, help you and give you some clarity. That's what I was going to say. I stuffed up. Sorry, guys. In the meantime, Scorpio, look after yourselves. Have an amazing couple of weeks. You know, watch out for this character. Okay, don't let it get you down and make you feel burdened. Speak up, speak your truth. Count your rainbows, not your thunderstorms, because you are growing, Scorpio. Okay, and things are moving forward for you now. The chariot is upright. Okay, so buckle up, put your helmet on, and away you go. See you soon. Bye now.